Oh, good morning, students. Yeah, say your prayer. Good. நான் ஒரு நல்லாசிரியர். நான் உங்களுக்கு தாயாகவும் தந்தையாகவும் இருந்து முறையாக அன்போடு கல்வியை போதிப்பேன். நான் ஒரு நல்லாசிரியர். நான் உங்களுக்கு தாயாகவும் தந்தையாகவும் இருந்து முறையாக அன்போடு கல்வியை போதிப்பேன். நான் ஒரு நல்லாசிரியர். நான் உங்களுக்கு தாயாகவும் தந்தையாகவும் இருந்து முறையாக அன்போடு கல்வியை போதிப்பேன். Okay, students. So take your social science book. Take page number 292. So today we will start with economics. So till now, we have discussed only history, geography and civics. So when the class begins, the online class itself, so we have discussed only these three subjects only. So history, geography and civics. So for a change, so today we will move to economics. So in economics there is 5 lessons. So the first lesson is the gross domestic product and its growth and introduction. So in this lesson you will learn about the gross domestic product. So what do you mean by gross domestic product? How can the gross domestic product can be measured? So what are the limitations? So what are the composition? Then finally you will learn about the economic growth and development. So gross domestic product. So the very first lesson in economics. So let us start with the lesson. So learning objectives. So in this lesson, what are the things you are going to learn? So what are the objectives you are going to learn? So to know about the meaning of gross domestic product, so shortly called as GDP. So gross domestic product. So shortly we will mention as GDP. So to know about the meaning of GDP. Then second, to understand the basic various measures of national income. To understand the various measures of national income. So how can be the national income of a country can be measured. So what are the terms? So what are the things used for measuring the national income? You will learn. Then to understand the composition of GDP. So what are the composition of GDP? Then to know the contribution of different sectors in GDP. So different sector means primary sector, secondary sector, tertiary sector. So their contribution in GDP. Then to know the economic growth and development. So economic growth and development and its difference. So there is a difference between growth and development. So what is the difference in the field of economy? So you will learn. Then to know about a development path based on GDP and employment. So a country can be considered developed country and grown country only its GDP is increased. So the development path based on GDP and employment. Then to understand the growth of GDP and economic policies. So in order to develop the GDP, so our government had various economic policy. So what are the economic policies? So you will learn in this lesson. So in this lesson, so gross domestic product and its growth, you will learn. So what are you going to learn? To know about the meaning of GDP, that is gross domestic product. Then to understand the basic various measures of national income. Then to understand the composition of GDP. Then to know the contribution of different sectors in GDP. Then to know the economic growth and development and its differences. Then to know about development path based on GDP and employment. Then finally to understand the growth of GDP and economic policies. So these are the things you are going to learn from this lesson. So first introduction. So GDP. So GDP tells us how India is doing. So what is the economic status of India? So from GDP, so from the value of GDP, you can understand about the growth of the economic growth of India. But before knowing, so before learning about GDP, you have to understand about the two terms, goods and services. So because GDP means so nothing but the market value of the final goods and service produced in the country. So GDP is nothing but so the market value of all the final goods and services produced in the country in a particular period. So you have to learn about goods and services. So what is your good, what is your service? What is the difference between good and service? So imagine you are in a hotel. So imagine you are in a hotel. You place an order for 2 idlis and a cup of tea. So imagine you are in a hotel and you are ordering so 2 idlis and a cup of tea. So someone make the idli and tea and someone serves you. Okay, so you know, so someone in hotel, so there is a cooker for cooking the idlis and there is a master for putting tea. Yeah, but it should be supplied by another person. Okay, wow. So idlis and teas are produced, so these are tangible. So tangible means so that can be clearly seen. Yeah, so idli and tea you can see it clearly. Yeah, so that is the physical things that you can touch and feel. Yeah, so economists call such tangible items, yeah, so the things which can be clearly seen, yeah, and you can touch. So those are called as tangible items, and the tangible items were called as goods. Okay, so the economists call such tangible items as goods. So these goods are not free. Yeah, so tea and idli you won't get free. Yeah, so you have to pay. Yeah, so you have to be paid or you have to pay the amount. Yeah, so though you don't realize it, in addition to this tangible thing called goods, something else is being produced. That is the work done by the cook and the people who serve the food. Yeah, so you know, you touch and feel the tea and idli. Yeah, because it is tangible item. Yeah, but you didn't realize one thing. Yeah, that is the work done by the cooks and the people who serve the food. Yeah, the activity of cooking and serving is not something you can feel and touch. Yeah, so you can't touch or feel the activities like cooking and serving. Yeah, so such activities are not tangible but are nevertheless crucial. Yeah, so crucial means extremely important. Yeah, so these are also not much crucial. Yeah, so these are also very much crucial. These are also very much important. Yeah, because they only may help us you to enjoy the food. Yeah, so economists call such activity as called as services. Okay, wow. So the thing which can you touch and feel are called as tangible items, and they are called as goods. Yeah, so the purposes. Yeah, so the process. So behind it, that is the cooking and serving. Yeah, you can't feel. Yeah, you can't touch and feel. Yeah, but it helped to enjoy the food. Yeah, so such thing was called as services. Okay, so what happens every day in a hotel at national wide? Goods and services are produced and paid for, and this what the GDP measures. Yeah, so not only in hotel. Yeah, so you can go to any field. Yeah, so there is good and services. Yeah, so GDP is nothing but measuring the value of goods and services produced in a particular year. Yeah, so produced in a economic year. Yeah, so that is GDP. Yeah, so in GDP you will measure about goods and services. Yeah, so goods means so nothing but, say for example in the hotel. Yeah, so you order idli and coffee means, or tea means, you can touch idli and coffee. Yeah, so that is tangible items which was called as good. Yeah, so and then the tea and coffee was provided by you by a server, and that was cooked by a cooker. Yeah, you can't touch their service, but you can get the goods only because of their service. Yeah, so that is called as service. Yeah, so GDP means nothing but so measuring the value of goods and service produced in the country during a particular period. Definition of GDP. So the GDP is the market value of all the final goods and services produced in the country during a time period. Yeah, so the GDP is nothing but the market value of all the final goods and services so produced in the country during a time period. Yeah, so goods and service. So already we saw an example. Yeah, so consider another example. Yeah, so there are some other goods so which you can buy. Yeah, so say for example, so from your home you want to buy anything. Yeah, so say for example, say your mom ask you to buy some vegetables. Okay, wow. So what will you do? Yeah, you will go to a market. Yeah, so you will go to nearby shop and buy the vegetables. Yeah, so the vegetables that you can touch and feel, so that is goods. Yeah, but the service, yeah, so the shopkeeper so sells the thing to you. Yeah, and the farmer who cultivate it you don't know. Yeah, but you paid the amount for both the good and the service. Yeah, so you paid the good for the vegetable that you touch, and also the service provided by the shopkeeper and also by the farmer. Yeah, so you are paying for the both. Yeah, so that is the goods and services. Yeah, so the GDP is the market value of all the final goods and services produced in the country during a time period. Yeah, so the formula for GDP is so consumption. That is consumption means so act of using something. Yeah, then investment, so plus investment, so investment means so act of putting money in bank, business, property, etc. Yeah, so consumption means act of using something. Yeah, investment means act of putting money in something. Yeah, plus government expenditure. So expenditure means so act of spending money. Then X minus M. So that is trade activities. That is export minus import. Okay, so GDP is nothing but consumption with investment with government expenditure with export reduced with the amount spent by the import. Okay, so export you earn money, but in import you have to spend money. So that's why they gave us X minus M. So export, so you earn money. If you export the things means you earn money, but import, so if you buy things from foreign countries means you have to spend money. So export minus import value. So consumption, investment, government expenditure are added along with the export value reduced with import value. So GDP is nothing but the market value of all the final goods and services produced in the country during a time period. So market value of goods and services, that is consumption. That is you use something. So for that you have to pay amount. Then investment, that is you put money in something. Then government expenditure, G. That is government is spending money. That is for the service. And for also other purposes. Then the export value, which was reduced with, which was deducted with import value. So that is the formula for calculating the GDP. So goods and services. As you know by now, goods are tangible items while services are activities which are intangible. So goods and services. So as you know now, so goods are tangible items. So goods means that you can touch and feel. So that is the tangible items. While services are intangible, that means you can't touch it. But you know and you have to pay the amount for service also. So not only you are paying the amount for goods, you are paying the money for the service also. So that is the goods and services. Then the market value. This is the price at which goods and services are sold in the market. So goods and services means so nothing but so goods are tangible items that you can touch and feel, and services means intangible item. So market value means this is the price at which the goods and services are sold in the market. So market value means the price at which the goods and services are sold in the market. So the goods and services so were produced from different field, so from different sector, and they reached the market. So at anywhere, at any place. Okay, so there they are fixed with a price. So that value is called as the market value. So market value is the price at which the goods and services are sold in the market. Then final goods and services. So economist Tyler Cowen and Alex Dvorak, economist, so the famous economist Tyler Cowen and Alex Dvorak say that the final goods and services are the goods and services which will be used or consumed. So the economist says that the final goods and services are the goods and services which will be used or consumed. The goods and services which will be used for producing other goods and services and will form a part of the goods and services produced are called intermediate goods. So the economist Tyler Cowen and Alex Dvorak say that while measuring the GDP, you have to consider the final goods and services. So you should not include the services, goods and services, which will be a form, which will form a part of the goods and services. So sometimes, so these are called as intermediate goods. Sometimes the goods are already have told you, there is the tea and food. So tea can be or tea or vegetables, so that you buy. So was produced from an agriculture field. So you are paying the amount for the farmer also. But that was not included. Because it will result in confusion. So what was the confusion? So only the final goods are included in the GDP. So intermediate goods are not counted in the calculating the GDP because their value is included in the final goods. So intermediate goods are not counted in calculating the GDP because their value is included in the final goods itself. So if the intermediate goods are included in the GDP, it will result in what is called double counting. So if you added the value of intermediate goods means it will result in what is called double counting. So say for example, a cup of tea bought in a hotel is a final good. Yeah, so already Tyler Cowen and Alex Doberg say that the final goods and services are the goods and services which will be consumed or used. Yeah. So if you are buying a tea in a hotel, yeah, so tea is considered the final good, yeah, because it is consumed and does not form a part of producing something else. So tea is the final good. Yeah. So after tea you won't do anything, yeah, because tea is the final product. Yeah. So the market value of the cup of tea being a final good is included in the GDP. Yeah. So the market value of GDP, the cup of tea, yeah, is the final good included in the GDP. Sugar, which is mixed in the tea, is an intermediate good. So say for example, so tea. So how can you make tea? So what are the ingredients you need? Yeah, tea powder, milk, water, then sugar. Okay, wow. So sugar, which is mixed in the tea, is an intermediate good, yeah, because it is used in making tea and forms a part of the tea served. Yeah. Suppose the tea is priced rupees 10 a cup, of which the value of sugar used is rupees 2. Yeah. So the price of the cup of tea includes rupees 2, the price of the spoon of sugar. Yeah. So you are paying 10 rupees for the tea. Yeah. So that 10 rupees include the value of tea powder, milk, sugar, and also the water added, and also the service. Okay, so if suppose if you pay separate amount, so what happen? And also the final amount for tea also means, so the amount will be doubled now. Yeah, so you are paying 10 rupees for tea. Yeah. Then say for example, so sugar cost rupees 2, then tea powder cost a particular amount, then service also cost a particular amount. Then you are asked to pay separately each amount, means what happen? Yeah, it will double now. So in order to avoid confusion, only the final goods and services, so only the value of final goods and services was taken into account. Yeah. So if the value of sugar is included in the GDP, it will be counted twice. Yes, as a spoon of sugar and again as a part of the cup of tea. So this is double counting, and to avoid it, the intermediate goods like sugar are excluded from GDP. Only the final good is included in GDP. Okay, so that was Tyler Cowen and Alex Doberg saying. Yeah, so only the value of, so the final goods and services will be used in measuring the GDP. So national income. So national income is a measure of the total money value of goods and services produced by an economy over a period of time, normally a year. So national income is nothing but measure of the total money value of goods and services. So we produce a lot of goods and services, and we are provided with many services. So we measure those goods and services in terms of money. So the money value of goods and services produced by an economy, so produced in a country over a period of time. So period of time means normally a year, so financial year. Okay, so commonly national income is called as gross national product, GNP, or national dividend. Okay, so national income, so commonly called as gross national product or national dividend. So national income is nothing but the measure of the total money value of goods and services produced by an economy over a period of time, normally a year. So commonly national income is called as gross national product or national dividend. So the various terms associated with the measuring of national income. So how can you measure the national income? So there are various terms associated with. So what are they? So gross national product, gross domestic product, net national product, net domestic product, per capita income, personal income, then disposable income. So the terms associated with measuring the national income were gross national product, gross domestic product, net national product, net domestic product, per capita income, personal income, then disposable income. So we will discuss one by one. So the various terms. Okay, so we will see the definition of each term associated with the measuring of national income. So first, gross national product, GNP. So GNP is the total value of goods and services produced and income received in a year by a domestic residents of a country. So GNP means, so total value of goods and services produced and income received by domestic residents. So income received by domestic residents. So domestic resident means Yeah, the native country. Yeah, so native of a country. Yeah, so income received in a year by domestic resident of a country. Yeah, it includes profits earned from capital invested abroad. Yeah, so domestic resident. So sometimes a person, say for example, a person in India. So he had a company in any European country. In France means, so he get some income now. Yeah, so in his own country, in India itself, so he earned the money. Yeah, so he get the income from the company which he had in the foreign country, that is in France. Yeah, so that value was also included. Yeah, so gross national product is the total value of goods and services produced and income received in a year by domestic resident of a country. It includes profit earned from capital, that is money invested abroad. So abroad means, so foreign country. Yeah, so GNP so can be calculated by using the formula consumption plus investment plus government expenditure plus X minus M, that is export minus import, with net factor income from abroad. Yeah, so net factor income from abroad. So the domestic resident, so who get income from the abroad countries. Okay, so say another example we can say that if any Indian, so who is working in foreign country, so he is spending he send money to his family in our country now. Yeah. So for that also he will pay some amount. Yeah. So that will also included in GNP. Okay, so GNP is nothing but the total value of goods and services produced and income received in a year by domestic resident of a country. It includes profit earned from capital invested abroad. So GNP includes consumption with investment with government expenditure with the export value deducted with the import value, then along with the net factor income from abroad. Then gross domestic product. So gross domestic product is nothing but the total value of goods and services produced by the factors of production within the geographical boundary of the country. Yeah, so GNP includes so the value of goods and services produced along with the foreign income also. Yeah, but the gross domestic product includes the total value of goods and services produced by the factors of production within the geographical boundary. Yeah, so it does not include the profits earned from foreign country. Yeah, so profits earned from capital invested abroad. Yes, it includes only the value of goods and services produced within the geographical boundary of the country. So GDP is the total value of output of goods and services produced by the factors of production within the geographical boundary of the country. Net national product. So net national product is arrived by making some adjustment with the regard to depreciation. That is, we arrive the net national product by deducting the value of depreciation from gross national product. So depreciation means nothing but a reduction in the value of an asset or a object or a good or service over time due in particular to wear and tear. So because the value of the product so may get reduced over a period of time. So say for example, so if you buy a two-wheeler last year means, so the value of the two-wheeler will be same in this year. Yeah, it will get reduced no? Yeah, so that is depreciation. Yeah, that is deduction. Okay, so net national product is arrived by making some adjustment. Yes, what is the adjustment? That is national product. So the value of depreciation, deducting the value of depreciation from GNP. So NNP means nothing but GNP minus depreciation. So net national product. How can you obtain net national product means GNP, that is gross national product, so deducted with depreciation. Okay, so net national product is arrived by making some adjustment with regard to depreciation. That is, we arrive the net national product by deducting the value of depreciation. So by reducing the, by minus, so minusing the value of depreciation from gross national product. So gross national product minus depreciation will gives you net national product. The net domestic product. So net domestic product is part of a gross domestic product. Net domestic product is obtained from the gross domestic product by deducting the quantum of tear and wear expenses, that is depreciation. So NDP includes so GDP minus depreciation. So NNP includes GNP minus depreciation. So gross national product minus depreciation, that is deduction by quantum of tear and wear expenses. Net domestic product includes GDP minus depreciation. Yeah, so gross domestic product minus depreciation. So that is NDP. So per capita income. So per capita income or output per person is an indicator to show the living standard of people in a country. Yeah, so per capita income. Yeah, it shows the living standard of people in a country. So what was the standard position? Yeah, so what was the lifestyle? Yeah, so what was the position of a people, of a person in a country? Yeah, it is obtained by dividing the national income by the population of a country. Yeah, so per capita income. So the formula is national income divided by population. Yeah, that is total income of a country in a particular year is taken, is divided by the population of the country in the particular year. Yeah, so say for example, so here I will provide with you an example. Yeah, say for example, there is 4 persons. Yeah, so the total income is 7,200 rupees. Yeah, so the per capita income is 1,800. Yeah, so don't think that all the 4 persons get the same income. So 1,800. So some may get 3,000 rupees, some may get 1,000 rupees, and some may get very few amount. Yeah, so but while calculating the per capita income, we just consider the national income whole are divided with the population of the whole. Yeah, so that is a great mistake. So they are saying, you know, so some people says it is wrong method to calculate the per capita income in such a way. Yeah, so because so some people get more income and some people get less income. Yeah, by calculating per capita income, we can't we can't understand the living standard of people in a country. Okay, va? So in 1867 to 68, for the first time, Dadabhai Naoroji, so you can see in this picture left side, yeah, had ascertained the per capita income in his book. Yeah, so the first time, so the per capita income was used by Dadabhai Naoroji in his book Poverty and Un-British Rule of India. Yeah, so Dadabhai Naoroji, yeah, so he was called as Grand Old Man of India. Yeah, so Dadabhai Naoroji, he was called as Grand Old Man of India. Yeah, so in his book, he mentions about per capita income. Yeah, so he wrote a famous book, economic book called as Poverty and Un-British Rule of India. Yeah, then the GDP. Yeah, so the modern concept of GDP was first developed by Simon Kuznets for U.S. Congress report. So Congress, the Parliament of United States. Yeah, in 1934. Yeah, so 1934. So what happened during that time? Yeah, because of the great economic depression. So we have learned in history now. Yeah, 1929. Yeah, so after that, so there is a lot of change in United States economy. Okay, so the modern concept of GDP was first developed by Simon Kuznets for United Nations Congress report in 1934. Then personal income. So personal income is the total money income received by individual and household of a country from all possible sources before direct taxes. Okay, so personal income, so nothing but so income received by a person or a family of a country from all possible sources before direct taxes. So before paying the tax, so the money so received by a family or by an individual, so that is called as personal income. So personal income is the total money income received by individuals and household of a country from all possible sources. So from all possible sources before the direct taxes. Then last one, disposable income. So disposable income so means actual income which can be spent on consumption by individuals and families. Thus it can be expressed as DPI, disposable income, equal to personal income minus direct taxes. Okay, so disposable income means actual income which can be spent on consumption. So consumption means using something. So the money spent by an individual or a family to use something, to use the things. So it can be expressed as personal income minus direct tax. So disposable income means actual income which can be spent on consumption by individuals and families. So it can be expressed as DPI, that is disposable income, equal to personal income minus direct taxes. So from consumption approach, DI equal to so consumption expenditure plus savings. So direct income, so disposable income means consumption expenditure along with the savings. Yeah. So these are the terms used for measuring the national income. So gross national product GNP, gross domestic product GDP, net national product NNP, net domestic product NDP, per capita income PCI, personal income PI, then disposable income DI. So GDP, some among the various terms of measuring the national income. So we will discuss only about the GDP. So GDP, gross domestic product. So what are included? So GDP means nothing but so the total value of outputs of goods and services produced by the factors of production within the geographical boundary of the country. So the factors of production within the geographical boundary. So it was not included the profit earned from foreign countries. Okay, so profit earned from capital invested abroad. So it included only the value of goods and services produced within the geographical boundary of a country. So GDP, so it includes produced in the country. So GDP of India includes only the market value of goods and services produced in India. So GDP of India includes only the market value of goods and services produced in country. So produced in India. So that is the geographical boundary. So say for example, so the market value of apples produced in Kashmir are included in our GDP because Kashmir is in India. So the market value of apples so cultivated or produced in Kashmir are included in our GDP because Kashmir is in India. The market value of apples produced in California, even if they are sold in Indian markets, are not included in our GDP because California is in the US. So that's why we can say, so the GDP value includes the value produced in the country, so produced in the geographical area of the country. So GDP of India includes only the market value of goods and services produced in India. So say for example, the market value of apple produced in Kashmir are included in our GDP because Kashmir is a part of India. But the market value of apple produced in California, so even though they are sold in India, they are not included in our GDP because California is in United States. So that is the GDP. So produced in the country. So produced during a time period. So there is a particular time period. So the GDP of a country measures the market value of goods and services produced only during the specified time period. The goods and services produced in earlier periods are not included. So the GDP. So while collecting the GDP, you have to consider the particular time. So you have to use the specific time period. So say for example, in India, the GDP is measured both annually and quarterly. So annually means the annual GDP is for a financial year is from April 1 to March 31. So say for example, April 1, 2019 to March 31, 2010. So that is the financial year. So while calculating the GDP, we have to consider the value of goods and services produced in this year. That is from April 1, 2019 to March 31, 2020. So the value of GDP is measured in this year. So that is the financial year. So produced during a time period. The GDP of your country measures the market value of goods and services produced only during the specified time period. So the goods and services produced in earlier period are not included. So say for example, in India, so GDP is measured both annually and quarterly. So quarterly means 3 months once. So the annual GDP is for a financial year which is from April 1 of 2019 to March 31 of 2020. So methods of calculating GDP. There are 3 methods. So one is expenditure approach, the income approach, value added approach. So for calculating GDP, we use 3 methods. So first one is expenditure approach, then income approach, then value added approach. So expenditure approach. In this method, the GDP is measured by adding the expenditure on all the final goods and services produced in the country during a specified period. In expenditure method, so the GDP is measured by adding the expenditure. So expenditure means so the amount spent. So expenditure means act of spending money. So the adding the expenditure on all the final goods and services produced in the country during a specified period. So expenditure approach, Y is equal to consumption plus investment plus government expenditure along with export value reduced with deducted with import value. Yeah, so C plus I plus G plus X minus M. Yes, expenditure approach can be calculated. Yeah, so by using this formula. Then the income approach. This method looks at GDP from the perspective of the earnings of the men and women who are involved in producing the goods and services. Okay, so here income approach. So it can be calculated by learning the or by knowing the earnings of men and women who are involved in the producing the goods and services. So expenditure approach means so nothing but so the amount spent for producing the final goods and services. But income means so the amount earned by the men and women who are involved in producing the goods and services. Okay, so the income approach to measuring the GDP Y is calculated as wages along with the rent plus interest plus profit. Yeah, so income approach can be calculated by using the formula. So wages, along with the rent, then interest and profit. So that is the income approach. So expenditure approach means so adding the expenditure on all the final goods, final goods services. That is so the amount spent so for producing the goods and service. That is the expenditure approach. Income approach means so the income earned by men and women who are involved in producing the goods and services. So value added approach. A cup of tea served to you in a hotel is final good. Already we have discussed it now. Yeah, tea. So the goods used to produce it is tea powder, milk and sugar are called as intermediate goods. So already we told so that intermediate goods are not included because if it included means it will result in double counting. So the goods used to produce it, the tea powder, milk and sugar are considered as intermediate goods since they form a part of the final good, the cup of tea. One way to measure the market value of the cup of tea is to add the value produced by each intermediate good used to produce it. The sum of the value added by all the intermediate goods used in production give us the total value of the final goods produced in the economy. Okay, so the sum of adding all the intermediate goods used in the production will give us the total value of the final goods produced in the country. So say for example, so if you add the value of tea powder, milk and sugar and also the service means you will get the final value. So final the value of goods and services, that is the value of the tea. So value added method. So tea powder plus milk plus sugar equal to tea. That is the value of intermediate goods is equal to the value of final goods. So if you add the value of intermediate goods means you will get the value of final goods. So that is the value added approach. So the methods of GDP calculating. So we use three methods. That is expenditure approach. That is the amount spent. So for goods and services. Then income approach. That is the amount earned by men and women involved in producing the goods and services. Then value added approach. That is if you add the value of all the intermediate goods means you will get the value of the final goods. So that is the value added approach. So the importance of GDP. So what are the importance of GDP? So first the study of economic growth. So by knowing the GDP you will study about the economic growth. Then second, problems of inflation and deflation. So inflation means so rise in the price of goods and services. So deflation means so reduction in the price of goods and services. So both are danger. So sudden rise in price and sudden fall in price both affect our economy. Then comparison with the developed countries of the world. So by comparing with the developed countries of the world, we can understand our economic growth. Then estimate the purchasing power. So purchasing power means the capacity of an individual to buy the things. Then the study of public sector. Then finally guide to economic planning. So to help us to plan our economy. So future economy. So the importance of GDP so includes so the study of economic growth, the problems of inflation and deflation, comparison with the developed countries of the world, estimate the purchasing power, study of public sector, then guide to economic planning. Limitations of GDP. So there are some limitations in GDP. So that means so something are not included in GDP. So though they have equal value, so they are not included in GDP. So first, several important goods and services are left out of GDP. The GDP includes only the goods and services sold in the market. So already we saw the definition now. So the market value of goods and services. So that only included. So the service provided by parents to their children is very important, but it is not included in GDP because it is not sold in the market. Yeah, so service means so not only provided in a public place, in a market or in a hotel or in any place. Yeah, so the service provided by parents to their children is also very important, but it is not included because it is not sold in the market. Likewise, clean air, which is vital, so which is very important for a healthy life, has no market value and is left out of the GDP. Okay, so GDP does not include the service provided by parents to their children, and also like the clean air, so important for healthy life. So because these things have no market value. Yeah, that is the things so which have no market value are not included in GDP. So say for example, another example. So if your mom so is not going work, she is a housewife means so she is providing service to your family so did she get any paid so any amount for servicing you? No, but her service also very important. So our parents are going to job, so they earn income. But some of our family members are in home, so helping us. So providing a lot of help to us. So those services are not included. So that is a great mistake. So GDP, while collecting GDP, so this value, so these services are not included. So that is a limit. Then the GDP measures only quantity but not quality. So there is a difference between quantity and quality. So quantity means so nothing but the increase in number only. So quality means so it's a quality, its capacity, its efficiency is increasing. In the 1970s, schools and banks did not permit the use of ballpoint pen. So now we are using ballpoint pen. But in 1970s, schools and banks did not permit the use of ballpoint pen. This is because the ones available in India were of very poor quality. So the ballpoint pen which was available in 1970s was of poor quality. Since then, not only has there been a substantial increase in the quantity of ballpoint pen produced in India, but their quality also improved. So after that, so the ballpoint pen, the quantity of ballpoint pen, so number of ballpoint pen produced also increased along with its quality. The improvement in quality of goods is very important, but it is not captured by the GDP. So the improvement in the quality of goods is also very important, but it is not added in GDP. So only the quantity, so the number is included, but not the value, but not the quality is not included. So in 1970, schools and banks did not permit the use of ballpoint pen. So this is because the ballpoint pen, so which was available in 1970, was very poor in quality. But after that, so there is an increase in the quantity of, that is, there is an increase in the number of ballpoint pen produced in India, but their quality also improved. So the improvement in quality of goods is very important, but it is not captured by the GDP. So first, the services provided by our parents and other factors which was not sold in the market was not included. Second one, so quantity only included, not quality. Third one, GDP does not tell about the way income is distributed in the country. So GDP does not tell about the income so distributed in the country. Just tells about the economic growth. But it won't tell so the economic growth is even or not. So the GDP of a country may be growing rapidly, so maybe grow fastly or maybe grow as we expect. But income may be distributed so unequally that only a small percentage of people may get benefit. So the GDP so says that economy is growing, but it does not say that the economic level of all the people, almost all the people, is improving or not. So mostly the economic status of a particular or a group of a small group of people only getting improved. So the remaining people economy is same as before. Then the GDP does not tell about the kind of the life people living. So a high level of per capita real GDP can go hand in hand with very low health condition of people, and undemocratic political system, high pollution and suicide rate. So if you take a country's GDP is more, so per capita income is more means it may consider, so it may be seen that high income people is there along with the low health condition people and an undemocratic political system, so high pollution and suicide rate. So GDP won't tell about the nature of the people, the kind of the people. So if you think that some countries is rich means not all the people in that country is rich. So there may be a pollution, so there may be a more suicide rate, so there may be a undemocratic political system. Say for example, now take America. So we think America is a very rich country, but the most affected country by the coronavirus is which country? America. So day to day update you can see, so America is the worst affected country. So the health condition is big, no, even though they are rich. But consider India, so we are poor when compared to America. But the coronavirus, so that have effect on India, but not as much as in America. Okay, so that's why. So the GDP does not tell about the kind of the life people are living. So composition of gross domestic product. So Indian economy is broadly classified into three sectors. So primary sector or agriculture sector, secondary sector or industrial sector, tertiary sector or service sector. So composition of GDP. So what are all included in calculating the GDP? So Indian economy is broadly divided into three sectors: primary sector, secondary sector, then tertiary sector. So primary sector, also called as agriculture sector. So agriculture sector is known as primary sector, in which agriculture operations are undertaken. So agriculture based allied activities such as production of raw materials such as cattle farm, fishing, mining, forestry, corn, coal, etc. are also undertaken. So agriculture means not only included agriculture field, it included so the activities which produce raw materials, which produce raw materials for the industries. So they are included as primary sector. Then secondary sector, so that is industrial sector is a secondary sector in which the goods and commodities are produced by transforming the raw materials. So what they do in an industry? They transform the raw material into usable product. So important industries are iron and steel industry, cotton textile, jute, sugar, cement, paper, petrochemical, automobile and other small scale industries. So industrial sector means so the secondary sector in which the goods and commodities are produced by transforming the raw materials. So here the service is not included. So remember, so goods and commodities produced by transforming the raw materials. So some of the important industry were iron and steel industry, cotton textile, jute, sugar, cement, paper, petrochemical, automobile and other small scale industries. Then tertiary sector, so also known as service sector, which includes government, scientific research, transport, communication, trade, postal and telegraph, banking, education, entertainment, healthcare and information technology, etc. So service sector, so which provides service, which gave us service. That means which includes government, scientific research, transport, communication, trade, postal and telegraph, banking, education, entertainment, healthcare and information technology, etc. So in the 20th century, economists began to suggest that traditional tertiary services could be further distinguished from quaternary and quinary service sectors. So in 20th century, economists classified tertiary sector into two. So tertiary sector along with quaternary and quinary service sector. So okay students, so today we have completed up to the composition of gross domestic product, so the various sectors. So in today's class we have discussed about GDP. So now we understand about the definition of GDP and also the importance of GDP. So and finally the composition of GDP. So today's textbook reading. So take page number 294. Read that heading, gross domestic product 1.2 and also the methods of GDP calculating. So that is your textbook reading. Then homework. So take page number 302. So fourth Roman letter. So give short answers. First three questions. First question, define national income. So for that take page number 293. So right hand side heading, national income. National income is a measure of total money value of goods and services produced by an economy over a period of time, normally a year. Commonly, national income is called gross national product or national dividend. Then second, what is meant by gross domestic product? Page number 293. Yeah, left hand side first heading, the definition of GDP. The GDP is the market value of all the final goods and services produced in the country during a time period. Then you have to write the formula GDP equal to C plus I plus G plus X minus M. So C consumption, I investment, G government expenditure, X minus M equal to X equal to export, M equal to import, up to that. Then third, write the importance of gross domestic product. So take page number 295. So left hand side, importance of GDP, the 6th point. So that is your homework. Yeah, so read it and write it well. Yeah, so thank you.